Alrighty, I think we're really in the home stretch on this set. A couple things though. I want to let you know I do read your comments and I do appreciate your feedback, and I'm going to take some of you up on your concerns. One, using a rubber band for the fine-tuning belt, not going to hold up long term. Yeah, I agree. After searching online and trying to come up with a workaround, that was just something I had that would work. But I went through the boneyard, my spare parts chassis, and guess what I found? Actually, I took one of these off one of my sets, my AT241, which has just been collecting dust, and the other one came off of a parts chassis. So I am going to transfer these onto the two RCAs I'm working on that need them. Plus, gives me a chance to show you exactly what we're talking about here. So these are woven fabric belts, I believe is what they're called. If you go onto eBay, there are a bunch of folks selling them. They were used in radios. And at least the ones where they list the dimensions, they are not right at all for this. They're much longer. Unfortunately, a lot of folks that are selling these replacement vintage bands, they're still in the original packaging, which is a paper envelope. And it just has a number on it. And I cannot find a reference guide, so I have no idea what the dimensions are. So, because I'm thinking, it's not unreasonable to think that there are some replacements for these floating around out there. After all, RCA made a lot of these KCS 28, 34 type chassis, and I'm sure this was a failure point, so there might very well be some aftermarket replacement belts out there. That's what it looked like. So it is a fabric belt. What the fabric is, it could be canvas, something like that. I think there's 3 layers, at least 2 layers, and then I believe it's rubber impregnated. And see, there's this one seam right here. So it's a strip, I don't know, what, 1/8 of an inch wide. Overall length, I think, is around 4 inches or so. And it's just looped around on itself, 2-3 layers, set up, and these are still pretty good. I soaked them in VLR for a while, vinyl leather rust protector, rejuvenator stuff. This one is definitely the better of the two, but this one seems to still have some life left. So I'll pop these on. And the other big thing was focus coil. So here's the repaired one, and yes, it does work. I know in the video I forgot to show it hooked up. Actually, in the final segment where you see an image on this, it is wired up and grounded to the chassis. But yeah, it very likely has suffered some sort of degradation from the trauma it went through. And guess what? I went through my parts. So I have an entire spare chassis of one of these. So I simply grabbed the whole focus coil yoke assembly, and I'm going to transfer in this focus coil. So this owner, as I know this stuff means a lot to him too, so I want to make sure that it works as best as I possibly can. It also addresses one other very minor issue, is that the original set of the trio of springs, one of them had broken, and it was a couple loops of the spring short of a full set, so we get to address that as well. So I think everything else is done to the best of my ability. Got the corrosion done, all the really good tubes put in it, all the caps have been replaced. Everything reassembled, new power cord has been put on. I think this was missing the high voltage. Yeah, this was missing the high voltage cage cover. I scrounged up a spare one, installed a new power cord on it. So yeah, that's about it. I'll make all the final tweaks, and then of course we need to reassemble it in the cabinet. Here is one of the original belts installed, so it simply loops around this pulley, around the shaft, and there's quite a strong spring and roller putting pressure on one side, and that's it. Just moves that little lever up and down. That's all it does. Little piston inductor there, so There she goes. Here the set is playing quite well, except the image is off to the side. Take care of that. I got to play around with the controls on the back, but obviously the transplanted focus coil works just fine. Nice sharp picture, really good reception. When these sets are working properly, they do produce a really fine, rock solid picture. Alright, so that's basically it for the electrical work. Next up, the cabinet. The chassis is almost done. I figured time to take a look at the cabinet, so I just retrieved it from the garage. So this is the front end. The whole front of the cabinet comes off, which is typical of early RCAs because they shipped without the picture tube when you install it from the front. It's supported by these little adjustable metal thingies, which should have rubber pads on them, which are all rotted away. I'll replace those. Yeah, it's a little beat up, but not too bad. I think what I'll do is clean it up as best I can. We can make these scratches less visible. I think that's some paint. We can get that off. I'll glue up any loose veneer. Yeah, there's a chip missing, but that's on the back corner. Not really a big deal. It has all the original feet, which is great. They're hard rubber feet, and this is a rather heavy set, so it's good to have those. And I found this. What's this for? Well, I will show you. What is this piece of wire for? It is the high voltage lead kickstand. Notice these notches on the yoke there. It goes like so, and like so, and like so. And it's supposed to go around like this. And this bit is supposed to be slid down a bit. And of course, this grommet is very rotted. I'll replace that if I can. And then it plugs into the CRT around about here if it was actually there. But it is not, of course. So it must have fallen out when I took the set apart. Also, we do have the plug that goes in here for the twin antenna lead, which is really nice. Because it has an interlock, these two are supposed to be shorted together for 300 ohm operation. For 75 ohm operation, it's a little bit different configuration, so it's a very important thing to have. I'm starting with a little cleaning, well, because I think it's the most fun part, because you generally get the most bang for your buck by doing some cleaning. So just a quick pass. Yeah, yuck. Clean this side just briefly, haven't cleaned that side. I think you can see that it looks less cloudy, it looks nicer. Normally I'd use Gojo, but I don't have it at my local place anymore, so I'm using Fast Orange. Same idea, they're water-free hand cleaners used by mechanics. No petroleum solvents. I think they use lanolin or something like that. Anyway, well, let's see. Ingredients. Bicarbonate of soda, some lanolin, water, microemulsion, some ethioxylated alcohol, dipentene, castor oil, propylene glycol, sodium bicarbonate, lanolin, aloe, jojoba oil, vitamin E acetate. There's all kinds of weirdness in here. Some of it I think is supposed to be good for your skin, and some of it dissolves crud. At any rate, it's fine to get on your hands, and it does a great job of cleaning crud off without making a mess. You don't want to just use straight up water and soap, because water and wood don't mix too well. And this will not harm any finish. Yeah, yuck. Also got the wood glue out. We've got definite separation down in this corner I want to take care of that. I don't want to get the cleaner down in that area because I don't want it to get under the surface where I'm about to glue. I just wanted to go over this main area here to see what I've got to work with. And yeah, it's so I mean, this is this technique antique radio guys developed over the years, and I've picked up on it. Some type of hand cleaner, wipe it down really good, and then if you think it needs a little color, a little brightening up, Howard's Restore Finish or stain, and then your wax or oil of choice. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do another pass or two. The Howards or stain will get into the cracks and make them far less visible. I've got mahogany. Howard's is like thinned down stain. That is some paint that got on there. I will try to very carefully get it off. And well, yeah, do the same thing on the other surfaces. Alrighty, glued, clamped, cleaned, and Howard Mahogany Restore Finish. I think that's looking one heck of a lot better. After the Howard's dries a bit, I'll wipe off the excess and put on some Oz cream polish. Now let's take a look at the top, which is not so good. I haven't cleaned it yet, so it'll get a little bit better, but it's seen some abuse, which is not at all uncommon for such as old. It got stuck in garages, closets, basements. Unfortunately, there is some complete finish loss in some areas like this. It's just basically down to bare wood. Pretty badly scratched up. Tell you what I'm inclined to do, it's a bit more work, but lightly sand it and put some fresh lacquer over it. Snow will look a lot better, but it will protect these areas that have significant, well, or complete finish loss. At least there's still color though, so I think it'll look pretty good. And the side, similar to the other side, it'll clean up all right. Those light scratches will fade away a bit, but yeah, this top. Yeah, a little rough. Alright, the main cabinet is coming along beautifully. It's outside right now. I just sprayed on a couple light coats of lacquer to kind of seal everything in. It's looking really good, which leaves this. I just retrieved this from the garage. This is that removable center panel, so you can get in there and change tubes. And it also has a speaker on the other side and a tube chart. This is pretty bad. Even worse than the other areas, especially in the back here. It's really alligatored and chipped up badly. I'm not going to strip it though, because I don't do anything radical. It's not going to match the rest of the cabinet. So I'm going to do the same thing on this, and it'll be what it'll be. At least this part is, wait, it's the back of the set, and it's looking a lot better up here towards the front. Alright, here it is. After the touching up and putting a little fresh clear coat over it, I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. Yeah, it's got its old battle scars, but it's protected, it's stabilized, and it looks a heck of a lot better. It's also cleaned all that gunk off too. So now the front panel is going to be another challenge. It has a faux finish painted onto it, faux wood grain pattern. Actually haven't looked at it in a while. I don't remember just how bad it is. I know it's a little rough, but we'll do the best we can with it. There's the difference between the refreshed surface and the original. Well, there's a difference between the refreshed finish and the unvarnished, untouched original finish. So I'm going to leave you off here. I'm going to get to town on this and clean the knobs, start working on the front, get the picture tube or the image shifted over to the right, all that fun stuff. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.